You would think that after living in New Zealand for 13 years, we would be true Kiwis through and through. But guess what? There are some things that no matter how hard we try, we can just not get our head around.
I went to hug or shake her hand or something, and she looked at me as if like, what are you doing?
In this week's show, we're going to share with you 3 things that always happen in New Zealand, and every time they happen, we're like, huh? Let's jump into the show and find out exactly what they are.
It's a Drama, coming to you from Taranaki, New Zealand.
Hello.
Daddy, I love him!
Mother thanks you.
Right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And this week we are back to talk New Zealand stuff with you. We've got a cracker of a show for you this week. You're going to love it. If you are new to the channel, we're Liz and Brian, husband and wife. We moved from the UK 13 years ago. And basically we just sit in our back garden in Taranaki talking about life in New Zealand. Really, That's it. Isn't it, Brian?
What more can you?
Yeah.
What more do you want?
It gives
That's
us
the
an
thing.
endless supply of content. It's fantastic. Sometimes we go travelling around the world, and when we do that, we also make podcasts, video podcasts, about what it's like going around the world. But right now we're in New Zealand.
We take you with it wherever we are in the world. We take you with us.
Yeah.
Can't get my words out.
But this week, you feeling a bit nervous?
Just
You okay?
always
Put your
do. The
teeth
camera's
in.
on.
Put your teeth in,
That's
Brian.
it.
Just glue them up a
Microphone's
bit.
on.
Yeah. This week, we thought it would be nice to talk to you about 3 things that we just cannot get our head around about New Zealand. Now, before you start going, in the comments, well, you're moaning, you Brits, what are you doing here if you don't like it? Me and Bri love New Zealand. But there are some things, 3 things actually.
Yeah.
3 things.
Being a pom.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
3 things that we just thought, you know what? I don't think we'll ever get used to this. It doesn't matter if we live here for 1,000,000 years.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever get used to it. And those are the things we're going to share with you this week.
Just the 3.
Yes.
For now.
Yes. So these are all the things that happened this week that really stood out to us. I hope you're really well, by the way. Just hello to all our regulars. Hope you're doing great.
Yeah.
But let's just jump in. Right. So this week we hosted a big dinner party because there was a charity event that our members of our private community group were part of.
Yep.
So if you go on.
Because it's an Oxfam Aotearoa event. It was to raise awareness for poverty-stricken people and stuff like that, to give them better water and working rights and stuff like that. So it's a great charity to do this for,
And we have got, regular listeners to this show will know that we have got a private community that we support people who are moving to New Zealand. And a group of people from this community were involved in this round the mountain race thing.
Yep.
So they came up from Dunedin, 3 of them from Dunedin, and while they were up here in New Plymouth, we thought it would be nice. They stayed overnight at our place, and we thought it would be nice to invite a few more members of the community who live around Taranaki to come and have dinner with us that night. So we hosted this big dinner party. There was 11 people, I think.
It's right about 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly Americans, me and Brian, and then a Canadian. Adriana is from Mexico.
She was born in Mexico.
Yeah,
Yep.
but she's American.
She got a US citizen. Yeah.
And then a Kiwi. So Suzanne, our friend Suzanne, she's a Kiwi. Anyway, we have the dinner party and everyone turns up and they bring wine. But the Kiwi, Suzanne, brought crisps, dips, chocolates,
pistachios.
whiskey. Yeah, pistachios.
Great bottle of bourbon.
Yes. And she brings it, and I was like, "Oh, Suzanne, you didn't have to do that, And she's like, she looked at me as if like, "Of course I had to do that, That's what you do." And afterwards, it hit us that in New Zealand they have this thing where when you go to a dinner party, when you go around to someone's house for dinner, you take a plate. It's called bring a plate.
Yeah, and it's not just been the once. It's almost like every person's house we've ever been to. Yeah.
It's a thing. It's not
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
And not an empty plate. It can't be an empty plate. It has to be a
just
plate.
take your willow pattern plate.
Yeah, but I say that, Brian, because when I first moved here, I seriously thought, do you need to bring more crockery?
These people don't have enough plates. Yeah, we'll bring a chair as well, shall we?
So, but no, it means you're going to bring something to add to the meal. Now, I get it. this is a lovely tradition. It's a lovely way of helping out the host. But the way I was brought up, and I think I can speak for you too when I say this.
It's I don't know whether it's the British way or the English way or whatever it is.
When you go round to someone's house for dinner, you go to relax. You go to be waited on. You know?
Yeah. Get my dinner.
Yeah, you do. It's like, oh, bliss, we're going to their house tonight. Don't have to do anything for all day. We don't have to do anything. So I don't understand, and I don't think I ever will understand, the concept of being invited to someone's house for dinner, but having to take something like, oh yeah, can you bring a salad or can you bring the dessert or?
Like, yeah, I mean, what's the theme of the night? You know, is it Mexican or is it?
Well, that's what does your head in.
It does, because I just, I like fusion of foods, but and the other thing is 9 times out of 10 it tends to be cold.
What does?
The food that people bring on the plate.
You heat it up in the microwave.
Yeah, but how many microwaves have you got in the house? It's like there's 10 people there. It's not 10 microwaves. It's like 10 minutes later, that one's gone cold again. So what's that all about?
Listen.
Put it in the oven. Or bring your crock pot with you. I don't know.
I know this is going to... Yeah, they do. Sometimes they
do.
bring the flipping oven. Don't they, Brian?
The slow cooker. Yeah.
I was like, I brought my cooker. I brought the curry in the cooker. Now, listen, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, right? And I get it. I know that you're going to...
But we're having a laugh.
Yeah,
that's the thing,
but I know you're going to sit there and say, yeah, but when you're the host, it's bliss because people help out and they turn up and you don't have to do all the work. But no, because then you have to pay back when you go to their house.
I know, it's no different. Just... people have got to work it out. It's like, say you go to 10 friends in I don't know, in 10 weeks or something like that. It doesn't make it. You've got to take 10 plates. Well, that could have felt 10 people.
Hey, Brian, do you remember that time we went round to, and I think, it was Angie for dinner, wasn't it?
Yes.
This was like going back years ago. Now, this is one time, because I didn't really know the rule then, and I think I just took a loaf of bread.
Yeah, I just said,
it's some salt and pepper.
Get a bag of crisps, empty on a plate, put some cling film over it, and off you go. And it's like...
And they really, really go out, the Kiwis. Yeah. They really go out when they do this. They're not mean. They're really generous, and not like the Brits. And we turned up at Angie's, didn't we? And do you remember? I think it was Matt down the road. He brought like this massive... Had he just been out and hunted something?
He used to go hunting out in the wop-wops and hunt deer and stuff. And he'd got this deer and butchered it himself and made this amazing stew.
Side of venison, wasn't it? It was delicious. Now, we never had venison. Well, in a restaurant you had. Yeah. But you can't go out and it's not something you're regularly going to go and eat, is it, Bri?
Well, you tend not to. You don't particularly like it. That's why I do. I like it.
Well, I pretend to like it because it's fashionable to like it because it's one of those foods that's fashionable now, isn't it? Like, you say, oh, yeah, I eat...
Low in cholesterol.
Yeah, I eat venison. But all I'm saying is that was a good night because we never would have eaten venison if we hadn't have had that little bring everything, bring a plate. But even so...
Yeah, I just find it a bit weird because, like, you have all these different things on your plate and it's just like, oh, I don't know. It doesn't really work. It's like, it's all right if everyone brings a plate of salad and it's just like, well, you don't want to eat salad for your dinner, do you, really?
Well, why?
Well, because it's boring.
Oh, well, yeah. But...
Yeah. Just want to eat some proper food.
Anyway, so that's that.
Get your sausages.
I don't think I'm ever going to... Even now, when I invite people for dinner and they say, what can I bring? I say, just bring yourself. Please just come and relax. Yeah. I'm the host. I will provide everything. I will look after you. But you better remember that when I come to your house, I'm bringing nothing.
That's right.
And he won't have salad. He ate your salad.
The restaurants are the same. You have to take your own plate.
No. So that was that. That's number one. And like I say, I don't think you can say what you want, but I don't think we'll ever get our heads around
It's just getting your heads around. It's a good concept, but just every now and then, not every time. Just...
The Americans do it, don't they?
Yeah, but they were well into it. Yeah. Because remember when we used to be friends with I can't remember their names now.
Yeah, Jennifer.
Jennifer and
Anyway, but they do
those people.
They bring. I think they don't call it bring a plate. They bring potluck.
Potluck. That's
potluck.
it. Yeah, they call it potluck.
Maybe that's a different thing. Maybe potluck is the one where you bring the curry.
Yeah.
And the pots in the meat, the meal in the pot, and bring a plate is just bring some sliced white bread and butter if you want.
Yeah. Just to dip it in.
Anyway, we're not mean or anything, but
No, but it's just...
Don't let this put you off asking us for dinner, of course.
What? Anyway,
let's move on.
Gotcha.
Right.
You'd upset about that.
The number 2 thing, and I must admit, I'm going to put my hand up here. I don't agree with you on this, but I'm going to let you have your say. because they do say on YouTube, why don't you let Brian talk more often? This is Brian's
Next.
thing. Anyway, Brian. So this is Brian's thing. Go on then.
Well, it's about public holidays. You have public holidays, and in the UK, and I know we're not in the UK, and most other places, New Zealand's not a huge place, and it's similar size to the UK. But when you had a holiday, like a public holiday, it was for the whole country. And what I found in New Zealand is like they have several different public holidays, but just for the little area that they live in.
For the region?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Well, there's not that many people live in it. So what is if, like, say you're living on the border of one province to the next province, or state, or whatever you want to call it. What if you live in that one, but you work in the other one? What are you supposed to do? So hang on, mate, it's Taranaki anniversary over on this side, but it means I can't come to work because the family's off.
He's saying this because we've just had Taranaki
Yeah, we
holiday
did.
on
Taranaki
Monday. It just
anniversary.
went,
Yep.
just gone. And I must admit, I'm not going to agree with you because I don't completely agree with you here, Bri. But it was a bit annoying because our daughter has just moved down to Wellington. She's upped and left the nest and gone down to Wellington. And we were like, oh yeah, it's Taranaki anniversary. We're going to have a meal. And she's like, well, it's not Wellington anniversary. I'm still working, so I can't come home or do anything. And I thought, oh, that's a bit of a bummer, that.
What a waste of days off. Yeah, because everyone should have the same day off. It's like doing Labour Day. Oh, well, that's a different day where you are, mate, so you can't have that day off.
Brian, the thing is, the reason that the Kiwi people do this, Bri, right, is so the country isn't flooded with holiday makers all booking the same restaurant. It's like a little celebration of your own region.
Well, have it the same day that you all have your local region holiday then.
Well, no, because that would just be like Christmas or Easter or whatever.
No, it just doesn't work. It just
Labour Day
doesn't work. If
doesn't work for you.
Public holiday, then it's for everybody. Yeah.
Well,
so I think we should have.
And as for your silly little, what are you on about? If I live on one side of the road and on the next, what are you going to do then, Bri? You have two holidays.
Well, you don't, do you?
You do. You just drive over. Say I'm in Waikato now,
Yeah.
And next minute, oh yeah, look, I'm here now. I've
A
got
target
another
of
holiday.
anniversary, and it's like.
Well, yeah. Anyway, we'll agree to disagree on that. Apart from the Wellington thing.
I don't know why it is. Why would you do something like that? What's that all about?
Well, maybe you can tell us in the comments. I'm sure you will.
Yeah. But it's just, to me, it baffles me because it's not a big country. I can understand different states in the USA because it's a huge country, and millions of people live in that particular state.
Why they started that?
I don't know.
I honestly think it's because just to give people, make them feel special and be like, you've got the whole day off today.
But the public holiday is normally like the bank closes and the post office will close. There's no delivery of mail and stuff like that. But all these people driving down from Auckland with deliveries, it's like, oh, they're closed today.
Oh, really? Well, I think they probably know that, wouldn't they?
Well,
they're not going to turn up, are they?
I don't know. Maybe it's just go, oh, yeah, I'm off to Taranaki, and he turns up and it's closed. It's like, what's going on?
And who's that eating
what
salad?
day is it? Oh, shit, look. That didn't bring me plate neither.
I'm not letting you have a say anymore. You get a little bit irate.
So
You're
anyway,
getting a bit
that's
above yourself.
I can't get used to it. And yeah, I mean, I don't know of anywhere in, the only place I did know, I think, which was in Cornwall when you had, it was May the 1st, it was May Bank Holiday. But you had Obios there. Yeah.
Hobby horse.
Obios.
You don't say hobby horse,
Or
do
you had the floral day in Helston, but it wasn't, it was always on a public holiday.
Right, anyway. So moving on before Bri starts blowing a fuse. Moving on to number 3 and our last thing that, again, it actually came up a couple of weeks ago when
a couple that way, or was it
a couple of weeks ago?
That way. Yeah, not this day, week after next.
Do you remember I told you we met a guy called Poco down at the cafe? Do you remember I told you that?
Yeah, from Wellington.
Yes, from Wellington. And he comes up and he's like, oh, Brian. And I met him and he was just a lovely, lovely guy. And it stood out to me then when I met him. And then a couple of days ago, the next door neighbour's dog from down the road there got out and came up. And he had a little tag on.
Patch.
Yeah, he had a little tag on his collar. And I looked on his number and it said, my name is Patch, this is my phone number. So I phoned up and the woman texted me and said, oh, how embarrassing, I'm on my way, I'm so sorry. Wasn't a problem. Anyway, so I'm standing outside with Patch, waiting for his owner to come up and get him.
And she just moved in, this lady up the road.
She's just moved in.
So we don't know her.
And she was about my age. And she walks up.
Old.
very young
Yeah.
and extremely attractive. And she walked up it's like looking at myself. She walked up the driveway and she walked up the driveway with her 2 kids and she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I said, "That's okay." I said, "I'm Liz." And I went to hug or
Hello.
hand or shake her hand or something. And she looked at me as if like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
You know, and again, it dawned on me. Now, going back to Poco, the story about Poco was when I met him, he was shirtless. He'd been on a bike ride with his with his wife. And he was all sweaty. And I went to hug him and he went, "Oh, don't hug me. I'm all sweaty," like, you know. And so, fair enough. But both those times, it made me realise that I am such a physical, huggy, touchy person, you know, like you just want to go, "Oh, good, hiya," you know, and apart from the mouldy people who hongy, you know, they press the noses and the foreheads, I don't feel like you can just go up to a kiwi and just give them a hug, or there's no physical.
No, apart from a shaking of the hands, like, you know, because.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you. Do you think it's acceptable, like with that woman that came up to get the dog the other day?
Yeah.
I went to shake her hand. Now she looked at me as if gone out. She was like, "What are you doing?" Like, you know, she did shake it, but it's like this. It's like this. No, not hard like that. It's like this.
Or limp wrist.
Yeah, like
Right.
a bit limp, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I've gone a bit too far. And I know with COVID, you know, you're not supposed to give anyone touch anymore. But do you know what, Bri? If you met someone in the street in England, they brought back your dog that had escaped, how would you greet them?
Depends how attractive she is. Or he
Don't
is.
be silly. Don't be going down that route, because that's not going to be happening.
No, it's.
So.
Well, you just said she was attractive.
Yes.
Attractive.
Yes, I'm allowed to say it.
Okay.
Go on, carry
Why
on.
am
What
I
would you
not
do?
allowed to say it?
Because
Is
you're
this
not.
is the rules that
'Cause it's
Brian must not
sexist.
say that?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Go on.
All right. It would just always been shaking another
Shake
hands.
a hand. Yeah.
And that's like kind of across the board, like, you know, because I used to go in lots of different classes of house, like, you know, when I used to work as a tradie in the UK, and the majority of the time it was just shake the hand. Some people would just say, "Oh, hello, come in," but some people would want to put their hand out to you, like, you know. You know, and that's anybody would do it, like, you know.
I would like I say, the mouldy hungy, I would love to do that. That would be my idea. That is a lovely greeting.
It's a great one.
To
isn't it?
take
It's
someone
just-
and just
with
connect like
you know,
that.
that hand on the shoulder, touch,
Yeah.
and just breathe in at the same time. It's so
That
good.
is gorgeous. But hand on heart, I don't feel like I'm, what's the word? Not in a position. I'm qualified to do that. I don't feel like, I don't know. I just feel like I would be.
It depends where you are and depends who someone wants to.
Yes,
wants to
if
do it,
another
yeah.
mouldy person came to me, and
Yeah.
then that would be different. But you can't just go up to someone in the street and take that as your greeting,
No.
because it's going to be like, "What are you doing?"
No, look back here as if like what's
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's
So, do you know what I mean, though, Bri?
yeah.
It's like it's
You
lovely.
never want to invade someone's space without being welcomed into
No.
that space, like, you know.
No.
And that's the thing. It's like, well, you know, when you're in France or you're in Italy, and you know, it's that touch on either side of,
I
and it's not a
know.
kiss, but it's a, you know, and then around the other side,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's just,
And the French and just
yeah,
you know,
it's
just
just
like
so acceptable, isn't it? Like,
there
you
is
know?
one culture, and I can't remember what it is, where it's like 2 kisses on one cheek and then 2. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
No, it's
I
just-
do. I
yeah.
just like.
Well,
I
we're people, we're humans.
Yeah.
Why can't you? You know?
So I don't know, and then we were talking about this after. We just said, is it a younger generation, like maybe the older Kiwis, the older generation, would be like shaking? Because I've seen loads of people shaking hands, and you know, I'm not saying they're all like, "Whoa, don't touch me."
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel acceptable, let's say, to just go up and go, "Hi," you know, and give them a
Yeah,
big
it's
hug.
Big hug. Yeah.
Does that sound
No,
right to
yeah,
you?
but it's you don't really see it. You do with people when they know each other, but just people when you're first meeting someone for a first time.
Yeah,
like, you know.
yeah.
It's, I know with all our community members, when they all turned up, some of them went to just shake your hand because they've never met you before. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, they know about you, but you just go up and give them a hug, and it's just like instantly the barrier drops, and it's just like,
Do you know what, Brian? Maybe, just maybe,
yes,
it's just me and you.
maybe it is.
Maybe they're like, I don't want to hug them.
Stay,
I don't want to. I don't want to shake your hand.
Stay away from me, old man. Oh well.
So
bite
yeah,
your teeth.
I know. Just,
Look at your teeth.
so yeah, that's all we've got, and that's what we were. So those 3 things all happened this week. And going back to you, Poco, I didn't care that you were all sweaty. I was like, oh, I don't care. You know? But yeah, I can see why you just wouldn't want to hug someone. But
but something you could be wearing like a t-shirt and just be completely soaked when you pull away, like, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The other thing as well, and I'm going to go off this subject now, but I've just been thinking then while I was talking, I wonder if COVID, like, you know, that you're not allowed to shake hands and you have to do that elbow bump and all the rest of it. I wonder if that's made people, like speaking for myself here, crave more physical
the physicality
contact,
of stuff.
You know?
That
they want to just go, how are you? You know, just like, we're still human and we want to connect and just, you know.
But I think what it is, Liz, that when you go to bed at night, I think you don't need to wear that face mask anymore.
You're being a little clever ass today, aren't you, Bri? Did you just go and look in the toilet at the joke book and think, oh, I know, I'll try and catch her out today when we do our podcast?
Yeah, and that's paper PPE overalls that you wear at night. I've taken the hint.
Anyway, so that's that. So, yeah. Right, that was it
on
then.
that point,
yeah.
It's like, well, it is time to say goodbye.
Yeah, and remember as well, those of you that are still here, I always say this, because those of you that have stayed around till the end, listening to our babbling on, you are our true people. You are so lovely. We appreciate you so very, very much. We thank you for just listening to these podcasts and leaving comments. There are so many of you that I could name, really gorgeous. And thank you also for listening to the audio only podcast that we also put audio only podcasts out every other week. That is a completely different kind of thing. It's a more personal thing.
Well, we started with the audio podcasts, and YouTube was never going to be on. It was never on the books, was it? Like, you know, until people started saying, "Oh, please do a video one." I know you did in the early days. You did one with Sonny, didn't you, our son?
And talking about books, I am just about to publish my own book, and we talk about that a lot on the podcast, on the audio podcast. And I know, again, a lot of you are there bloody supporting me. It is gorgeous. It is so lovely. You are supporting me in such a way that makes me keep going with this book and get to the finish line and publish it. And I have said on that podcast before, if you are interested in receiving a free newsletter about that book, about when it will be released and all the other stuff that goes on with writing a book, if you would like to know more about that, then you can sign up by going to www.itsadrama.com/front row.
Wow, you remembered it.
I did, Bri. You see, it's not. I'm not silly.
I was thinking I Love NZ, and I was thinking all those other ones, and it's not. It's just
www.itsadrama.com/front
row.
There you go.
All one word.
Yes,
front row.
all one row. Yeah. All one word. And like I say, if you want to join in on that journey, find out more about the book, find out more about the audio book that we're recording, or I'm recording. Brian's going to do all the sound for it.
Yes.
Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Then that's the place to go.
There's going to be weeks of, well, it won't be. It'll take us over a week to record that audio back, I would imagine. Yeah.
And it's a funny book about traveling the world. Well, with the family, going around the world with the family. Anyway, so that is enough I will say about that. You can sign up and you can find out more about that. So until next time, thank you so much for being you. Thank you for being here. And I'll speak to you next time.
In kia kaha, stay strong. Kia u, stay true.
Bye.
Wouldn't it be good if you could be a fly on the wall in someone's life in New Zealand and find out all the things that are happening to them? Like, they don't know you're listening, but you're just listening in.
And we were sitting in the cafe the other day, earwigging. You know, these people, we don't know them, and they're probably thinking, she's a bit close. The lady had heard that one of her friend's sons had been on it. She said, we're gonna go down there and cut the swing down. Honest to God, you know when you're just like listening, you want to go, excuse me.
In this week's show, we're going to spill the beans on 4 things that happened to us in New Zealand this week and let you be that fly on the wall.